guys, what's up? RescueRyan521, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Star Wars The Last Jedi, which I just got back from seeing a couple hours ago. I wanted to take some time to think it over before I did my review. And of course this is going to be spoiler filled. I'll put that in the title so you guys know that, of course. You know, I don't want to give away spoilers, don't want to be the one to spoil crucial scenes for you. So we're just going to get started right away. I'm going to start with the things I liked, and then we'll transition to things I didn't like, and I'm going to be kind of scatterbrained, so I apologize for that, because I wasn't taking notes, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do a review, so I'm kind of pulling whatever I'm saying off the top of my head. So starting with the stuff I did like. Obviously, the effects were fantastic. The effects can always be expected to be great in these newer modern Star Wars movies. It's pretty much every Star Wars movie. The prequels may have overutilized CGI, but overall the effects in every Star Wars movie are, for the most part, awesome. So the effects were great. A lot of ship battle sequences, which were all really well done. I loved all of it. So the action scenes just overall look great. The lightsaber stuff in this movie, fantastic. Another thing I loved, the confrontation with Snoke and Kylo Ren and Rey. Very reminiscent of Episode 6 with, the Emperor interrogating Luke with, Vader standing there and everything. I still say, after thinking it over, I think my favorite moment of the entire movie is when Snoke is just delivering his verbal beatdown of Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren just snaps, and when he's supposed to kill Rey, he forces Luke's lightsaber to basically cut Snoke in half. I thought that was really cool, and then they take on all the guards in what's probably the best action scene of the movie. Something about the stabbing sounds in that scene were really cool, and they're stabbing the guards with their lightsabers. It made this weird hissing noise, or I don't know how to describe it. There was this weird noise that was being made whenever they would stab these guys. Something about it just sounded cool. I liked Poe's little rebellion. I like that they kind of show that he's he's a very independent character, and I like that. I thought they did a good job with that. With General was her Holdo, was that her name? Can't exactly remember. I didn't think porgs were annoying. I thought they were pretty fun. I loved the scene with Chewie about to eat the cooked porg and all the other porgs standing around him in horror. I thought that was probably the funniest part of the movie, or that was probably the part that I laughed the most. A lot of the jokes I didn't really laugh out loud at, but that was one of the ones that I did. I also really liked the Finn versus Captain Phasma battle. I thought that was really cool. Just something about the lighting of the scene and just the explosions and everything in the background. I just feel they kind of set up as this really epic battle, and I really dug it. I actually liked it a lot more than the Rey or the Luke versus Kylo Ren fight at the end. I really did. I thought it was lit really well. Lit. I meant the scene was the lighting was really good. And then I also really love the last line, where she calls him rebel scum, or she calls him "you were always scum," and then he says "rebel scum," and then you can see her eye sticking through the helmet. I thought that was really cool. I love that as a final moment for her. And then I also, for positives, I also really liked the destruction of Luke's lightsaber. I thought that was really cool, being split in half. We'll see how that gets fixed in the next movie. I also really liked the way that Rey and Kylo Ren were communicating through the Force. You know what I mean? They were kind of similar to Luke and Vader in Episode 5, but even more advanced, because they could actually see each other. Whereas Luke and Vader could only kind of talk and hear each other, they were talking on a phone or something. This one they could actually, it was each other was there, but they couldn't see the surroundings around them. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was kind of a cool new Force ability that they added to the universe, and I think it fit the movie really well. So I guess we can kind of transition to the negatives now. I'll try to keep this review somewhat short. I really am unsure about how I felt they did with Luke in this movie. They didn't give him a ton of screen time. Well, first of all, the second half of the movie, Luke, for the most part, is nowhere to be seen, except for the end fight. Some of the stuff, on the island, I liked it, but I can kind of see why Mark Hamill disagreed with Rian Johnson about it, because it's they play it out to be is Luke a bad guy or something like that, but then, because you don't really know who's telling the truth. Did Kylo Ren really think that Luke was going to kill him because he feared that he was, too overpowered and he wanted to stop him, or did Luke really see the dark side in him? Or they could both be telling their versions of the story. Kylo Ren, I suppose, doesn't know that Luke saw the evil in Kylo Ren, so to him it may look like, oh yeah, he was trying to murder me because he thought I was too powerful. So, there's really no way of telling, whose side of the story is true, or maybe it's just a matter of perspective. And I kind of liked the battle at the end with Luke basically distracting Kylo Ren so the rebels can get away. I liked that. But then he just dies after. Like I said, spoiler in the title, and then he just dies, and it's very underwhelming, and it's not really... Luke's character is not deserving of a death like that. Did he just, spend all of his Force energy, and then that, he just died from the amount of strength it took to project himself on the crate or whatever the planet's called? Was that... Something about that I just didn't like. I can't tell, also, I don't remember if they connected lightsabers at all, because if they didn't, then they played it smart. But if they did connect lightsabers, then the whole Force projection thing makes no sense, and I don't like it. But like I said, I can't remember if they connected lightsabers or not. So, take that with a grain of salt, what I'm saying. So it's a criticism I might be dishing out that it's not deserving of. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'm sold on the whole where they took Luke and everything. I'm just not really crazy about it. As for other negatives, I liked that. Obviously, I'm glad Princess Leia survived. I'm kind of curious to see what they're gonna do with Carrie Fisher's untimely passing. Still, rest in peace. God, that still makes me sad. I'm curious how they're gonna handle that in Episode 9. But part of me wishes they would have killed Leia off in the scene where Kylo Ren blows up the bridge. Because think about it, because we pretty much see him fully embrace the dark side in this movie, right? So what I'm thinking is, he kills Leia on that bridge. Of course she won't get as much screen time in the movie, but he will have fully killed both of his parents, and he'll seemingly be fully committed to the dark side, which is going to make what I'm assuming the next movie is going to probably turn him back to the light like they did with Vader. It's going to make that so much more powerful, because you think, oh, this guy killed both of his parents, there's no way. And there's still a chance, because they're going to write Leia off in Episode 8, or in Episode 9, they could just say, oh yeah, he did kill Leia, they just, it happened, in between movies. I don't think they would do that, but, something about, this guy killing both of his parents, I feel like would make his redemption so much stronger because of that, you know what I mean? And plus, it was a big shocking moment that I thought, oh my god, they just killed off Leia by having, Kylo Ren shoot her, at the beginning of the movie. And then they go to the ridiculous scene of her, being I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, floating through space. That was really weird, and I was actually kind of chuckling watching that in the theater. It was awkward. So another thing I didn't really like was the Finn and Rose subplot on the casino. Something about that was just it felt very like they didn't need it in the movie. Because I was thinking when I was watching it, when around the time they landed on Crate, I was like, oh, this has got to be the ending. And then it went on for another 20-30 minutes, and I felt like, God, this is really starting to feel like a long movie. Well, I don't think I would have got that feeling had you cut out a lot of the casino stuff. A lot of it was just unnecessary. It was kind of interesting for first viewing, I guess, but it's nothing that I'm gonna go back and think, okay, this was something that was really interesting, or I don't know. It's just, it wasn't super interesting to me, and I kind of like the part where they're riding the what are they, the horses or the moose is out of town or whatever. I thought that was kind of interesting, and they're rampaging through all the buildings. Thought that was kind of cool, but yeah, the subplot as a whole I didn't really feel was very necessary, and you trim it off the movie, you have a more well-balanced Star Wars movie with a better runtime and less, boring scenes, I guess you could say. Also, a lot of the new characters weren't super interesting to me. I kind of liked Holdo. I thought she was interesting, but I feel like, and I suppose you can't really go back and change this and refilm it, and, due to Carrie Fisher's passing. I feel like you could have actually had you could have maybe had Leia take over a lot of those scenes, because Leia was already at odds with Poe earlier on in the movie, so it would make sense that she would disagree with him being hot-headed. But that would kind of make Leia the villain, so I see why they didn't do that, but I feel like that would have been, more interesting. I feel like that would have kind of, added more layers to Leia's character. She's a rebel, but at the same time, she trusts Poe, but at the same time she's, doing what's best for, the rebellion, so I kind of get that. but at the same time, you know, she was interesting, but she wasn't anything like groundbreaking. She was just kind of, you know, a B-level villain, you know, while, like, you know, Snoke and Kylo Ren were, you know, in the more interesting scenes in the movie. Benicio del Toro's character I thought was kind of cool, but his purpose didn't really serve much. He was just kind of in the movie for, you know, a little bit. Once again, I don't think they really needed, you know, him to, like, double-cross them for them to end up on the Star Destroyer. I don't know if that was necessary. And then Rose I thought was interesting. She was, you know, she served her purpose. You know, I thought it would have been better if maybe she died at the final scene where she, like, kisses Finn. I mean, it didn't really make much sense if she would have died there, because there was really no reason for her to die. But I just think it would have, she wasn't like a character I feel like needs to carry on to the next movie. You know, something about her just wasn't super interesting to me. I don't really like that they're setting up a romance with her, with her and Finn. But overall, I thought she was okay. She wasn't bad, but she was nothing really special. She's definitely not like an amazing character, I would say. And the only other negative I can think of is I wasn't really a fan of the Yoda scene. Something about it wasn't the scene in general. I really actually did like the scene. It could have just been because of Yoda's theme playing, which I think is probably one of, like, the top 5 best Star Wars themes, or, you know, soundtracks or whatever you call it. But something about the CGI on Yoda just looked really weird, and I remember even in the theater whispering to my dad, like, that CGI looked like garbage. And then they show and then I think the next scene where he's sitting next to Luke, it was a puppet Yoda. That looked a little better, but it was still just noticeably not the same as, or it didn't, maybe if it was, it didn't look the same as it was from the original trilogy, from episodes 5 and 6. But to be fair, I preferred that version of Yoda over the prequel version, where it's just a complete CGI mess. But so I suppose it's not that bad, but I did like some of that, yeah. But that's pretty much my overall thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think of the movie in the comments. I was a fan of it, but it's definitely one of the it might be the weakest of the 3 new Star Wars movies we've gotten. I wasn't super crazy about Rogue One. I liked it, but I didn't, like, love it. And I'm feeling the same way about The Last Jedi, so I can't really determine where it would fall on, like, my rankings. I'm thinking about redoing my rankings, because my old rankings video, like, where I ranked all 7 movies that we had at the time, now we have, 9 movies. I'll probably redo that video because my old one was just terrible. I ripped the prequels way more than I meant to, even though they do deserve some of it. I sounded way too, like, negative about them when I was, you know, talking about them, and I spent like 10 minutes on each prequel movie. So yeah, I'll probably redo that video soon, giving my updated thoughts, including Rogue One and The Last Jedi in the video. But yeah, once again, good movie. I'll say, like, you know, I don't know if I'd say really good movie, not great movie. It's kind of just below that. But yeah, I liked it, though. Overall, I liked it. Probably not my favorite, definitely not my favorite of the year. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 10 or not. I'm constructing my top 10 to do a video on that for you guys very soon, and I'll have my top 10 out pretty soon. I'm still debating if I want to see Phantom Thread and Downsizing before the year ends, but yeah, I think I have my top 10 already pretty set in stone, but I'll see if any of those movies, and maybe my further thoughts on The Last Jedi, will change it. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the movie. Overall, I'd love to hear it. I'll definitely be talking about it in the comments. If there's anything I missed out, just let me know, and I will give you my thoughts on it. If I didn't touch on it in the video, I'll let you know down in the comments. But yeah, until next time, guys, thank you so much for listening to this long video. Peace out. May the Force be with you.